Welcome back, Triple Option. Got your boy Caden, Tyler, and Dylan here. We are going to go over a bunch of free agent signings. The new league year started technically about 2 hours ago, but with the new rules, they were able to negotiate, I believe on Monday it was. So we've known for a while where a bunch of people are going, but now it became official today at 4 Eastern. And then later, we also have a new game Tyler made for us that will kind of explain here in a little bit. Tyler, your background looks really good, bro.
Thanks, I'm working on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like a middle school boys' room. With
Yeah,
all the
definitely. I kind of got
Big,
those
big
vibes
tall
coming
guy,
up.
huh? I
I
like
just think
that.
the bottles look cool.
They do look cool.
They taste like absolute shit, but they look cool.
I think they're delicious.
There's only
My-
two that I like. There's
My
only two.
favorite thing is probably the Tums bottle.
Okay. I died.
I was looking at the bottles. I was like, which one's a Tums bottle?
I have one of these in every room of my house.
Oh yeah, no. As someone who also suffers from heartburn, I understand, my boy. I understand. But all right, let's just jump in. Let's get some reactions. Probably the biggest news: Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. Let me see if I wrote some of these down for us because I know we did some predictions. But y'all discuss, what do you guys think about Kirk going to Atlanta?
Good move for him coming off an
It was-
ACL tear.
Was it ACL or Achilles? It was Achilles, right?
Oh, either one.
Yeah.
Either one.
Is
Coming
it
off-
true he's only ever won one playoff game?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nuts.
Dude has made bank. That's crazy.
Did I not write these down? I could have sworn I wrote these down.
His cap hit is 25 million. I don't hate it. I will say, I hope fantasy wise, people take Drake London early, so that way it leaves someone that's actually going to be good
I mean,
lower.
yeah, my biggest probably winner of that situation is probably Kyle Pitts. And
Yeah.
so
I think Bijan's a big winner there.
I think Bijan's a big winner too. Drake London, it is what it is. Excuse me. They also signed a wide receiver, Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
He's a very underrated receiver. I like that move. It's something weird for me that I just like to always think about in free agency. What number is he going to wear? Because Kyle Pitts wears 8. He wore 12 in Washington and then switched to 8. And so does he go back to 12?
I wouldn't be
I don't
surprised if Pitts is going to switch because he's going to get paid, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know how much Kirk wants it that bad. Maybe
Kirk has got $100 million guaranteed. I'm sure he can.
But this man still drives his first car or something.
I guess that's true.
You know.
What do you think the reasonable price? If Pitts asked for $8 million, the number's $8 mil.
I don't know. I don't think Kirk would do that. I don't think. I would be curious. We should Google it real fast. What is the highest?
What's the rule? What's that weird rule with jersey switching where you have to buy like all your?
That's only if you have like an active jersey.
Yeah.
If you're a linebacker and you're number 52 and you switch to 9.
Okay, gotcha.
Like Debo switched to number 1 today. Fun fact.
I thought that was yesterday.
Oh, maybe it was yesterday. I saw it today.
I just saw Kay Adams called him out for it.
What did she say?
Apparently, she asked him in an interview if he was going to, and he's like, "No, I'm this number for life." And then, like 2 days later, he switched. So
That's crazy.
He loves lying to women too.
And that's kind of what she said. She's like, "You just love lying to me," like. But yeah, I don't see him in a different number. I would almost see Pitts switching because maybe that's like a refresher for Pitts too. Like, hasn't been a great career so far, so new number, new me.
I mean, look, like the highest bidding one I can see is Gerald McCoy paid $250,000 for a number.
Yeah, I don't think Kirk cares enough to pay for it. If Pitts is like, you can have it, then he'll take it. But
that was when he signed with the Panthers. $250,000.
Really feel like that. I don't know why in my head I thought there was a situation where somebody paid a lot for a jersey.
I don't think it would ever reach that much, but because I know Graham Gano, he's changed his number a couple times and he just made people donate to his because kickers don't really care,
That's fair.
I would. If I was a kicker, I'd be an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Saints kicker when Jameis Winston signed there was like, "Hey, my number's available." Let me know. Give me a call. Jameis like, I'm gonna be a backup. I don't give a shit. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest news. Probably the most surprising is Calvin Ridley, right? Everyone else, I feel like, or actually, Calvin Ridley was surprising. Josh Jacobs was surprising.
Wilkins to Vegas was different. I wasn't expecting him to go to Vegas.
Who?
Christian Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins, that's huge for Vegas. That actually might be the best and most underrated signing so far. Him and Max Crosby are gonna eat.
Oh yeah. Well, see, that's why I didn't think he'd be like. That was a surprise to me because I did not think they were even going for that. But it's a huge get, especially in the division with Mahomes.
Yeah, you need it. You need it for sure. And he got paid, and I think Max got paid, and so that D line has potential to be really good for a really long time.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite move? Probably Dylan, probably Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and Huff.
And Huff?
Yeah.
Huff doesn't really get my...
I think I like it if we move off of Sweat or Reddick.
You're definitely moving off of... I thought they said both Reddick and...
They're available is what it's been said.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I know. The Eagles have been making a lot of moves. They've been very active.
Did you see what Jason Kelce said?
What did he say?
He hates that he retired because the Eagles are going to be so good this year.
They're going to be...
like, that's one reason he almost didn't. He's like, I knew they were going to make moves. I could see him coming back if someone gets hurt, but I don't think he just comes back to come back.
Yeah, you're probably right. What's absolutely nuts, though, back to the Calvin Ridley thing, is the Titans refused to pay A.J. Brown $100 million at 26, but pays Calvin Ridley 92 at 30.
Which is, it's also crazy to me because Calvin Ridley's played like a total of like 3.5 seasons, isn't it?
Yeah. He's
30 years old.
Mm-hmm. He was drafted in 2018.
But he was like 26 when he was drafted or something nuts.
He was old.
Oh, really? Was he old?
He was old.
He was older than Amari Cooper was at that point in time.
They both might be 30 or turning 30 this year.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But I do like the fit. And I mean, that A.J. Brown trade literally got the GM fired in Tennessee. So it is a new GM, so I guess it would make sense.
Speaking of Tennessee, Mike fucking Vrabel in Utah.
Dude, yeah. What was up with that? Did you just...
No, we were walking. It was like almost half time, so we went to go get like just a little snack. And I see two dudes taking a picture together. And then the guy like turns around with the biggest smile on his face. And then I saw the other guy like wave at him, like saying goodbye. And I was like, no fucking way. That's Mike Vrabel.
That is nuts.
Does he have Celtics ties or Jazz ties? Like, why?
He was in New England, so
I'd say New England for 14 years.
Okay. But I still wouldn't know what that would really be.
He's just got to be vacationing or something. Like, he's getting paid so much money to do nothing. And I think he ends up in Ohio State next year when they fire Ryan Day.
He's got to win the championship to not get fired, basically.
I think so, at least playoffs. But that's for our college football preview. I mean, and yet Josh Jacobs I was shocked by Josh Jacobs going to the
That's my favorite signing.
I feel like Aaron Jones didn't give himself enough time to be like, he just like instantly signed with the Vikings, and I feel like a little bit because it was like, man, the Packers really did that shit to me, you know. And it's like, brother, like they signed Sam Darnold, which if it's a Baker Mayfield situation, I swear,
he's not.
I think part of Jones signing like that was everybody that was running back needy had already signed and given like, I don't see where he was going to get more money.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, I think, would have paid him a shitload.
No. Did you hear about Dallas? They didn't even want to give Derrick Henry money.
I know they didn't want to give Zach Moss money, which in my head made sense. But I didn't hear anything about Derrick Henry.
After Zach Moss, they started talking to Henry, and they said Henry's price tag was too high.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think they want to pay anybody.
The only thing they've done is re-sign their long snapper,
which is crazy.
It's crucial. Special teams, special plays.
Maybe they're making a splash in the draft.
They gotta. They do need to. They're gonna have to pay CD just to. If they're smart, they get CD done before Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
that'll be nuts. I'm waiting for the Panthers to trade for either Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins. So I imagine it'll get done in the next few days.
I think you guys will get Debo before.
You guys got your receiver. You're done.
I do like the trade a lot, especially for the value. I have been especially in fantasy. David would always try to trade him to me, and I'm like, I don't want him. He's too inconsistent. And but like for a trash ass cornerback and a 6th round pick, it's worth it because his route is pristine. You know, he's not too expensive. We'll have to pay him next year if he goes crazy. And obviously you love guys on contract years because they're going to try their freaking hardest. So hopefully it's good for development. What I need to see is another receiver, and I need to see Noah Fant, I think.
You'll get Mike Williams.
I want one that has played 16 games before continuously.
Don't you have Adam Thielen on your team?
Yeah.
There you go.
This is my dream scenario, real dream scenario.
You've got all wide receiver 3s.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson is a high-end receiver too. High-end, high-end receiver too. Here's I'm going to tell you guys what's going to happen to the Carolina Panthers in the next week or so. Oh, hold on. As we're speaking, the Cowboys just signed another change of heart after agreeing to a deal with the 49ers. Former Chargers and Vikings linebacker Eric Kendricks has decided to go to Dallas.
Okay.
Interesting. Underwhelming, but
yeah, I was gonna say that's only because Van Der Esch retired, didn't he?
Did he retire?
I thought he did.
I didn't see anything.
I know he's medically messed up, but
that's why I think he retired. But
he may have. But anyways, next 7 days for the Carolina Panthers include adding a receiver. I'm gonna go Brandon Ayuk because that's who I want. I want Brandon Ayuk, and then for one of the 2nd round picks, and then I want to ship out Adam Thielen for a late round pick. Then
why not go get Jefferson? He's on the trade block.
Well, we don't have any firsts to give, or else I would say it.
Your first next year is gonna be worth so much because it's a 1st overall. Like you're 1 of 1.
It's not. Shut up.
Who's going to be worse than you?
I would say
maybe Denver.
There's a bunch of teams that,
maybe Denver.
I mean, Denver, Minnesota, they're going in it with Sam Darnold. I mean,
they're going to get McCarthy.
Has Arizona done anything to get better?
They're going to get Harrison.
No, but they were still better than Carolina last year.
You let that, but we're at rock bottom, baby. The only way is up. And
we win.
And you know what? And we're rebuilding. So if we do get the 1st overall pick next year, so be it.
You're going quarterback, right? If you get the 1st overall again, you have to go quarterback, right? Because
that's nuts. Let me finish telling y'all what's going to be happening in the next few weeks. We will be signing both Chase Young and Jadeveon Clowney. Both of them, I actually think Chase Young was there today, and I think Clowney goes there tomorrow.
They're both visiting the Saints too, though.
Yes, and so more likely scenario is probably 1-1, but I know Chase Young is also going to Tennessee, and so Tennessee's path is a little more direct, I guess you can say. And then we're probably going to add a couple safeties. I don't know who.
Simmons is still out there, right?
Huh?
Did Simmons sign with someone yet?
No, Simmons is. I think all the safeties are still available.
Yeah, I don't think really. I don't even think Byard signed anywhere.
But Byard signed in Chicago.
Poyer signed in Miami.
Yeah, DJ Poyer signed in Miami. But I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. I like what we've done. I just wish that we could have gotten a first from either Christian or Brian Burns.
You could have.
I wish
Didn't they
we
offer
would-
2 firsts like last year?
Yes. So
Yeah, they
Scott
did.
Fitterer is forever on the
crazy.
big list. And
Crazy.
so that is disgusting and gross mismanagement, and I will never forgive him for that. But, and I mean, what about the Colts? Like, they've basically just,
They re-signed everybody that played
Re-signed
for them last
everyone.
year.
which
But not
Any-
terrible deals. Like, I would say we didn't really super overpay anybody.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh yeah, but that was last year. That was
I do like the Joe Mixon trade to Houston.
Oh, I like that too.
That's a really good trade. Zach
I
Moss,
like that all the running backs are in new spots because I think it just gives them all kind of like a refresher to where we could have a really good running back class for fantasy next year.
Yeah, I think like I'd have to do a little bit more thinking about it, but like the ones I don't love Tony Pollard going to Tennessee. I think he's the same running back as Tajay Spears, and I think Spears is probably just as good as him and cheaper. So that one probably didn't make too much sense. My favorite one's definitely Barkley. I called that one. It made too much sense. And the Giants fans that are so pissed off at him, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I hate when players do that. You know, if I ever saw Cam Newton in his Saints or Falcons uniform, I would bawl my eyes out, or Luke Kuechly. But I mean, the organization's to blame. They chose Daniels over Saquon. You made your bet.
Which I heard they're going to cut him, Daniels.
Yeah, he's gonna be June 1st.
He's probably going to get cut. Yeah.
Crazy.
And so, I mean, sneaky Justin Fields to New York. And that's even a crazier thing is
I
I knew his market wasn't going to be as good as everyone thought it was going to be, but I didn't think it was going to be no market. I mean,
Do you want to hear my prediction there? I think Chicago trades down to 3. Patriots trade up to 1. Chicago takes Harrison at 3.
interesting.
I think they keep Fields this year. I think they keep him one more.
I would doubt it 100% because if they're how do you get that trust back from Justin? Like Justin knows you're shopping him all week, and you have been for this whole time.
But I don't think they want to stick with him. They just haven't been able to get rid of him yet.
And so
New England got rid of Mac
if you-
Jones.
Yeah, I know. If you decide that, hey, I don't want this guy anymore, and you publicly go around and try to trade him, how do you be like, oh, never mind, come back and leave
I
this
just-
franchise?
My thinking is you trade back, you can get some picks for the next year, get a generational receiver, hopefully. And if Justin Fields still doesn't work out, next year you've got 2, maybe 3 first rounds you can shoot on a
But
quarterback.
this is supposed to be the best QB class in like
That's true.
Ever.
forever. Yeah.
For the next couple of years, yeah. It's
And last year or next year, who's the best quarterback coming out? Freaking Cam Rising? Probably Shadur Sanders.
Yeah, I bet it should.
probably, but I don't even have faith in that.
Yeah. So big yawn. Any other big news that you guys thought was super interesting?
I think it's crazy that Eckler got paid more than Aaron Jones.
Yeah, again,
What the Commanders are doing makes no sense.
they do. I like what they're doing on defense. Offense is still just kind of okay, you know. Who's gonna? You think Marcus starts for them next year?
It depends on if they try to
definitely
draft.
drafting someone.
Yeah.
They're definitely drafting someone, but
What spot are they at?
they're at 2.
Oh yeah, then
They're
taking.
they're probably taking Maine. But who's the offensive coordinator there? Is it Cliff Kingsbury now?
Yeah.
And he's got ties to Caleb Williams. So maybe they're the ones that try to jump up to it with Chicago.
Do you think he's over Williams though? Like, you think he's kind of like, I kind of want a new quarterback.
I mean, he left USC as soon as Caleb Williams left. So, you know.
I guess that's fair.
I just think you, as a Utah fan, dislike Caleb Williams, and that's why you think that.
Dude, we own Caleb Williams. I am not impressed with Caleb Williams' play from what I've seen when he's played against Utah. He is he's talented, but he definitely gets in his own head and he gets frustrated and he starts playing like crap when he's frustrated. So NFL defenses are going to play so many mind games with him.
Is he a leader of men? Do
No.
you want your men, whether you lean left or right, do you want the leader of men to be wearing dresses? I'm not willing to answer it. I'm leaving it up for debate.
I mean, if you look back in time, like Romans and Greeks wore dresses, and those are some of the greatest men ever.
And
but they also had
where are they
armor
at now?
on over those.
I mean, they're dead, but that's just how things happen. Jesus wore a dress.
Oh, was it a dress? Oh, so wait, hold on. Are you saying Caleb Williams is Jesus?
I'm not saying Caleb Williams is Jesus.
I've never
Jesus
seen
was also put
Jesus
on a
and Caleb
cross.
Williams together.
I don't know if we really want to.
I
don't know.
Oh,
if
right.
We don't know if Jesus was really on a cross. Where's he? Where is Jesus?
Either way, he died.
Jesus died too. That's what I'm getting at. Everybody dies.
All right. Jesus and the Romans never painted their nails that I know of.
Oh, I didn't realize Bobby
Yeah,
Wagner went to Washington.
Yeah, Bobby signed with Washington, but he's a little irrelevant now.
That's what they're signing all these old folks.
I say, dude, I thought he retired years ago.
I don't know if Dan Quinn sees an opportunity in that division. Cowboys have only gotten worse. Giants have gotten worse. Eagles have gotten better. And so whether he could think it can be the Eagles versus Washington next year, Drake May or Caleb Williams, that's a good spot to go. I think that's a good spot to go for a rookie quarterback. It's a big market. Yeah, I think it'll be.
Was Dan Quinn the head coach when they drafted Matt Ryan in Atlanta, or did he get it after?
No, he had it after. It was definitely Matt Smith, something like that. That was the coach. White hair. Yeah, I don't know what his name was. But yeah. Anything else we need to cover before we play Tyler's game?
Henry to Baltimore. I mean, you guys know how I feel. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. Just unless you're turning it around and handing the ball to him 25 times, I don't know if Henry's game is read option. Like
I don't think we've seen a running back as good as Henry there though either.
That's
a
true.
Good point. But I don't know if y'all remember when Henry was first.
It's almost had to be running back by committee. Period. Just because of injuries and everything.
You're right. But you guys remember when Derrick Henry first got in the league? He was bad. He couldn't run like downhill even, and it was just rough to watch. And it was a lot of read option because I believe it was with Marcus Mariota, right? And so
I think it was the year after maybe.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, obviously he took off once DeMarco Murray left and whatnot. I think it'll be interesting. I think I heard that the Ravens are cutting Odell Beckham too.
Yeah.
And so maybe they really just dive into this, that they're going to be running backs.
They handed the ball off 3 times in their last game.
You said what?
They handed the ball off 3 times in their last game. Like,
can't do that.
Henry's going to get so mad if they go a whole game, win or lose. If he gets 3 touches, I don't think that's what he's going there for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. I wish I really thought Dallas was a really good landing spot for him, and I would have seen him at the Chargers, and the Chargers must be waiting for Blake Corum or something because the fact that their moves have left me confused. I understand cutting Mike Williams.
They were over the cap, so maybe that's why they were a little hesitant to go out.
Which is nuts because that team on paper should be so freaking good. And maybe it's time to have that. You know how this year when we first started the pod, Tyler, I was like, yeah, Josh Allen isn't it. Sneak peek for next season. I'm about to have some stuff on Justin Herbert.
I said Herbert was going to be MVP last season. I know it kind of got hurt, but
I said Trevor Lawrence was going to be MVP. So,
yeah. I will say with Saquon real quick, I love him going to the Eagles. I don't think he's going to be good in fantasy. He's not getting the touchdowns.
Yeah, nice. No running back in Philly's getting touchdowns.
I could see him being like McCaffrey with 1,000+ rushing and almost 1,000 receiving.
That could be, but you're counting on the yards. PPR, he might be a machine.
He's an athlete.
That's
I'm just scared that
he's a dynamic enough runner that the Eagles won't be in tush-push situations very often.
I really think there's going to be a rule change with the tush push.
It's already come out.
They'll give it this season and see if maybe it was just Jason Kelce that made that possible. If it's just as good, then maybe they try to address it again, but they're not touching it for this season at least.
Yeah.
But I think that's so, like, how can you change a rule because a team's good at it?
I mean, because I feel like I remember I may have dreamt this, but there was like a couple times where there were multiple injuries on that play. And so they're going to bring it back to player safety. And
for other teams, there were
quarterbacks. Yeah, but the Eagles are doing it without getting injured.
Yeah, see, that's the hard thing is
you can't take tackling away because the guy doesn't know how to tackle.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying that they should get rid of it. I mean, what does piss me off is these little bitch ass. Jalen Hurts already has more rushing touchdowns than Cam Newton or whatever, and it's like Cam Newton's his first rushing touchdown was like 48 yards, and all of Jalen Hurts is combined like.
What's his longest rushing touchdown?
He's got a couple probably 10 to 15.
It would be hilarious if it was like under 4 or 5. That'd be amazing.
Let's see. Let's Google it real quick.
Because I love giving you crap for that because he does have a lot of touchdowns, but it'd be hilarious if none of them were over 4 yards.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is the greatest running quarterback since Michael Vick.
That's nuts.
I mean, stats show that he is.
Dude, how many 1-yard rushing touchdowns does Jalen Hurts have? Let's see if you guys can guess this.
I'm going to go 24.
Total touchdowns. Yeah.
Huh?
From last season? Or all time?
I assume it's all time.
24.
1-yard touchdown, all time.
33.
He's had 41.
Holy
41.
What's his total? Does it show his total?
Let's see.
42.
Oh my god.
That's a lot, actually.
Jalen Hurts 41 touchdowns. 15 this last year for rushing touchdowns.
Oh lot. That is a lot.
Let's see.
I don't know why. I didn't watch a lot of Eagle games, but I don't see him. I can't picture him running outside the pocket or like running very far down the field. I don't think I've seen him scramble a ton, but.
I don't know why I can't find that. Just what his longest one is, but anyways, well, free agency. We'll have more for it here soon. But should we pivot into Tyler's game?
We can. Let me get that.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I will say before I explain it, Colts are kind of in the same situation as the Ravens, where we have a running back that needs a lot of touches, but then we have a quarterback that wants to run.
Yeah, but hopefully AR will just relax a little bit because his talent, it seems to be.
I mean, he's already guaranteed to be the second best of his class.
No, I was about to say, like, we're gonna look back at this quarterback class in 5 years, like, holy shit, that was the best quarterback class of all time. Or, damn,
those two guys are really good.
Off.
Okay, so what this game is, I guess I can share my screen, at least this screen.
That would help me.
Yes, well, the screen's not going to show you much, but I'll explain it. So why do I have so many tabs? When you see those graphics where it just shows stats, and they're like comparing two players, and they have you pick a player, and then you find out, wow, that's a trash player, his stats just look really good?
Okay.
I thought of an idea where we might have to tweak this a little bit. At first, I was going to give like you 3, you choose one, and Caden gets another 3, he chooses one, and you guys slowly build a blind team basically based off the stats. And then at the end, you decide like whose would win a Super Bowl first or whose is better. That's still kind of what we're doing, but instead of giving you guys 3 separate ones, I chose 6 players. Our stats are all going to be on the screen. And then we'll have to figure out a way for who gets to go first. First person takes one, and then the second person gets to choose from the last 5, if that makes sense.
Okay, or what if these are all just 6 random quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, so I have quarterbacks done. And the reason I only did one is because I also wanted to kind of see how this went, obviously. Yeah. So
what if Dylan and I worked together and we had to agree on ranking these quarterbacks 1 through 6, and then you tell us who they are? We're like, oh my goodness,
Could
Does
also
that
do
make
that.
sense?
The only thing is, we probably still want you to each choose one if you're building a team. But you could also rank. We could also rank them too.
What we could do, we could give us each a little bit of time. We'll talk it through. We
Yeah.
both have our lists of 1
There
through
you go.
6, and then we'll see who we think did a better job of the list.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
then so when I show you the next screen, I will explain a few things,
okay?
a few criteria. I did try to choose some good stats and some bad stats, so you can kind of
Okay.
see both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
So this is our screen. Green are obviously good stats, and then red are bad. What I based this off of was the last 3 years. It's just the last 3 seasons.
Okay.
Some of them could have only played 3 seasons. Some could have played 10. I only based the last 3. And the reason I put so many bad stats is because one quarterback could have had a season with 60 touchdowns and then 2 seasons with 5. So some stats may seem really high compared to others. How I chose is the QBR and completion percentage is kind of where they should be around the same. That was kind of my baseline of these quarterbacks are kind of similar.
Okay.
The other stats may seem a little skewed, but just so you know, that's kind of where I was going with it. But this is what you got.
Okay. So explain yards lost to me. Is that from sacks or what?
I would assume so. That's just a stat they had, and I thought it was interesting. I would
Okay.
assume it's from being sacked.
Okay.
Also, the interceptions may be a little iffy because some quarterbacks they had it, some they didn't. So I had to kind of look it up. So that may be a little finicky, but
Interesting. Okay. So
this was
games
all
played.
full Yahoo Sports. If anyone feels like any of these numbers are wrong, go complain to them.
Understood.
Also, with games played, I don't know if that's games started or games played all together or just they were there. And so
Understood. This is gonna be tough.
I'll be impressed if you can guess who these people are.
I'm assuming QBR stats are pretty decent, and so I imagine these are, and they have to be in the league minimum 3 years.
Yep.
So I would assume Josh Allen,
if you're
Patrick Mahomes.
If you're a quarterback in the league, you're pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of these are Patrick Mahomes.
I was gonna say touchdowns. I feel like he's
It's
got
too low.
close to 100 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I will say a lot of these players are, I said, relatively close to each other. Obviously,
True,
some of their stats are close.
He
So
is the best.
This is maybe a hot take, but because of games played and stuff, are we talking about who's who, Caden?
I mean, we could have guesses. Why not?
Well, I'm just saying right now, are we going to communicate that to each other?
Sure.
I think player 6 might be Aaron Rodgers.
Games played 36, QBR 98, 55 and 21. I guess it's just the last 3 years, huh? So
Yeah.
they can have more career touchdowns.
And see, that's why I put games played in there because I was like, some of their stats seem really good, but they played less games or more games. So
what makes you think that's Aaron Rodgers?
The high QBR, the games played, and sacks. He's been taking more sacks towards the end in Green Bay.
Okay. And are we ranking these on like just the best or people we would want to start a franchise for? Probably just best.
I would say kind of the criteria of who you'd want to lead you to a Super Bowl in a sense.
Okay.
Right now, you're having a team. You got to go win a Super Bowl this year.
Got to win a Super Bowl this year. Gotcha. Okay. I still think I think Justin Herbert's going to be in here somewhere. I think maybe Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like those guys are all relatively in the cluster. maybe Lamar Jackson too, and maybe a Baker Mayfield. Let's see.
Oh, and in case it wasn't clear, these are all passing stats. So like touchdowns wouldn't be rushing touchdowns, and fumbles wouldn't be like rushing and they fumbled it outside of the pocket. It's all
Gotcha.
passing stats, just so you know.
Okay.
I also didn't know if completion percentage would be a big factor for you guys, but I was like, that's kind of an interesting stat, how many completions you're getting.
I agree.
I was going to throw in pass attempts, but I felt like it was almost very obvious who was who with those in there.
Really?
Because some of those numbers were wild, and you're like, okay, there's only a few quarterbacks that are throwing like that.
Who missed some time? Okay, I'm going to go. See, I'm thinking player 4 is Josh Allen.
I could see that. I feel like he'd have more fumbles than 9, though.
I don't know if he's a big fumbler. He's definitely a big interception thrower.
I would think player 3 is Josh Allen before player 4.
Fumbles 5, sacked 32, 83. They're so similar.
They're crazy similar.
I feel like they got to be. I don't know if
Josh Allen hasn't missed a lot of games either. If I'm doing the math, we've had 2 17-game years, right?
I think so, yeah.
So 50 would be the max you could play in 3 years.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
So Patrick, I don't know. I got to get Patrick Mahomes out of my head. Joe
So
Burrow missed a lot of time.
What 2 stats are you looking for most in a quarterback to lead you to a Super Bowl here?
Is he handsome?
I want to see touchdowns. QBR is such a skewed stat. It doesn't super matter. Completion percentage doesn't super matter to me either. I like games played, touchdowns, and turnovers. I think are the ones that I'm looking at the most.
Turnovers is the biggest thing for me personally.
Well, also with fumbles, these are not fumbles lost. They're just fumbles, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Because not all of them had tracked fumbles lost. Some of them just had fumbles. So some of these they could have gotten back, but just so you know, it's not fumbles lost.
Ready whenever you are, Bakes.
Player 3.
So, Tyler, do you have an actual ranking of these then on the next slide, or do you just tell us who it is?
So the next slide, I just have who it is. I don't have them ranked, because I feel like it's a little subjective. Like if I guess I could have ranked them how I think, but I feel like you guys would very much disagree how I would.
Dylan, who's your number 6?
Like my worst player on here?
Yeah, let's go 6 up. You and I will go through and see the differences first, then we'll have Tyler reveal.
Okay. I put player 5.
Player 5 is your number 6?
Yeah.
I put player 3.
Okay, that's interesting.
Why is that? What made you guys put them last?
Turnovers and completion percentage, I guess, did play a little bit for me.
Okay.
And I don't even. What about you?
I mean, he was sacked quite a bit, which I mean,
that could just be your line.
Middle of the pack here.
Yeah.
It's a low completion percentage, which I'm not a crazy big fan of. And that, I mean, 2-to-1 TD ratio isn't great either.
That's a good point. Okay, what about your number 5?
My number 5 was player 2.
Okay. See, my number 5 was player 5.
Okay.
Next time I'll do letters, so it's not as confusing saying my number 5 was player. I'll do A, B, C next time.
All right, your player 4.
I put Player 6 here, just because of games played was a big thing, and
I
then
also have player 6 there.
yeah, his touchdown to interceptions wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at it, he's played 11 less games and he has, 4 less picks, 10 less picks essentially. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Almost sacked just as much though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He was sacked a shit ton, which isn't always a quarterback's fault,
True.
but it can be.
Right. Number 3?
I put player 1.
I put player 2 at my number 3. And then your number 2?
Player 4.
I also have player 4 at number 2.
And I had him at number 1 originally. And I
Uh-huh.
can't tell you why I changed it now, but I did.
Wait. Holy cow.
Player 3 is my number 1.
I was going to say your worst player is wow, that's crazy.
No, your worst player is my favorite player.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Player 3.
What's your number 1 then, Caden?
Mine's number 1.
Okay, so 1 and 3. So
Game
you did have
played,
different ones.
decent touchdown to interception ratio, sacked a little bit, fumbles a little bit. I just have a feeling that
Your guys' sacks and yards lost are pretty similar though.
yeah, that's actually nuts.
Yeah, I
That
put player 3 at number 1 because he was relatively healthy, missed 3 games, which you can chalk up to minor injury / team was doing so well he didn't play at the end of the season. QBR was good, nothing great. It was a high completion percentage. He threw a lot of touchdowns. He did throw picks to match it. But if you look at player 4, who had similar passing stats, this guy was sacked less, lost less fumbles, had less yards lost, played more games.
Yeah.
True 4 lost a lot of yards compared to
I'm going to say whoever player 3 is probably a dink and dump quarterback. That's
Dak Prescott?
It could. Ooh.
You
All
guys
right,
ready
let's
to see
see
him,
him.
man?
Let's see him.
Here are your guys.
Damn, I also thought player 6 might be Baker. I thought you'd throw that shit
So
in there.
Caden ends up with Derek Carr.
Oh man.
And Dylan ends up with Justin Herbert.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was talking shit on Joe. So I was close with Russell Wilson is crazy. Where did I have him? I had him at 5.
I had him at
Sorry, no,
5.
I didn't.
Damn, I put Jalen Hurts at 6. That's crazy.
put-
When you said that, I was like, what are the chances?
Dude, that's nuts.
That is very interesting. Okay.
Who is my least favorite one? Player 3, Justin Herbert. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Player
so I
5.
couldn't put the top guys because their stats are so much better than everybody else's.
Yeah. You
And
know,
so-
Derek Carr's
I didn't-
a career underrated player, but he's not winning a Super Bowl.
No.
Awesome.
That's also not the Derek Carr that plays for the Saints. That's not how his name's spelled.
That's true. Good point. Good point.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Well, y'all let us know how you like this game. Obviously, it was new to us. We'll probably tweak it a little bit next time you guys see it. But please leave a comment. Tell us what you guys think and tell us what else you want us to do. Thanks, y'all.